Alrighty folks, today's adventure. First things first, I have the bits, well I got all the lines I'm pretty sure for our brake lines, so I want to tackle brake lines and possibly, well I shouldn't say possibly, the next thing I want to jump into is actually fabbing up a fuel tank for the car here. We're going to go with the tank inside the car. I know a lot of folks won't like that, but that's how most cars are. It'll be separated from, it's going to be mounted inside in the back panel. I'm going to go there. I got a cool little filler neck. I guess, well, I wouldn't say cool, but it's basically from a boat, so it'll at least not look too crazy odd. I don't know how else to funnel that stuff into the car. There's no room behind the running boards to do anything or whatnot, so we're kind of going with this style of a filler, which is like a boat filler. So it'll sit nicely on the side of the body. You'll be able to flip it up, do your thing. I'll probably just stick it over on the driver's side. That way I can kind of stick it up into the corner. I'm feeling it'll sit up into this corner here somewhere. So it's not too obvious, but, and then we can fish it down to the tank. I have a centering unit somewhere here. And so basically my plan is we're going to get the brake lines in and plumbed. I don't know if I'll get them bled, but I'll just get everything run. And then try to build a fuel tank and hopefully run the fuel lines. Fuel lines, we're doing all this AN stuff that I've never really done before. So I picked up a kit. This is all, I think it's 4 AN, which is 3/8, which is like plenty for what this car is going to need. I know you have that, and then there's such a thing as 8 AN, but my regulator, everything is all this 4 AN stuff. So, which is 5/16, which is, you know, it's plenty. When you go to this 8 AN, that's like ½ inch, and I don't know what you need for that. That's kind of excessive in my eyes, but anyways, I think that's the plan. So, first things first though, let's make some tabs and get these brake lines mounted on there, and I think I have all the line, everything I need, so it should be pretty straightforward. Well, that didn't quite work out the way I wanted. Well, overall, the brake lines are all made. I have to take it apart so nothing's tight. Reason being is these things, I don't have any bolts that are the right size for them. And I know they're just those stupid little sheet metal things. I tried, and I thought I grabbed it. I actually went to the plasma and I just cut, you know, about a loose one out of sheet metal, like a nut, and I figured it would work, but it just doesn't grab that well. It's kind of what I made with some fingers kind of thing. Kind of like sort of what they are, but anyways, something about it, not right, didn't work. Like it stays on, but I can't get it like snug, so they could loosen. So I'll have to get that. I figured I could beat the system because I'm about 40 minutes or so to go to town and come back. So that's just quite a drive just for 3 nuts. So we'll come back and revisit all of that stuff. But everything is all in. These lines are really big. Like they're from a 4x4 truck and they actually had a clamp holding it somewhere. I don't know where Speedway gets the lines that they use. I don't know what it cross-references with. This is from a 4x4, like a Blazer. So it's kind of long, but you can see we kind of run this metal line. I have to twist it out of the way so it doesn't like bang into stuff. So we're kind of running it hoopy this way, that way. But anyways, it should be okay. I think it'll be fine. I know the Speedway one comes, I don't even know how it works, honestly, because that's quite the indent going forward. Anyways, we got those lines in, the rear one's in. Basically, we got to go through, tighten everything. I'm not worried about up here about doing any pressure switch or anything like that. If I feel the brakes are bad, I'll just patch into the line because I can get into the line pretty easy in there to do one of those prop valves, but I don't know. On my truck, I was running a disc setup, my 37, and it felt fine. Everything was good with it, so I'm just going to try it on here, see how it goes. Anyways, the brakes are plumbed. Next step is a fuel tank. I kind of did the math. If I did a bigger tank that came up to here but fit into this schloop down into this little hole, that way I could like kind of fasten it up to here. That's what I'm thinking, is like I'll have some way that it'll bolt onto here and then it can come onto this edge and I'd be able to bolt it and then it'd hang. It works out that I think I did the math, whatever it would be. I think it was like 16 gallons or something. Like it was actually quite a bit though. I was pretty happy with that size. From there, we got to go get a filler in it, and I have a sending unit. A buddy actually gave me one. I don't know what the range is on it, but I'll just test it, and then we'll kind of make everything work with it, if that makes sense. Provided this thing actually, oh, hold on. Oh yeah, that'll be fine. I think this is from my buddy's car, his car. Oh, that's going to sit up there. I'm not sure. I might have to check this out. We might have to get a different unit. This one, if that tank is up to where I think it's going to be, like you would have quite a bit of, well, I wouldn't have a lot of fuel in there, honestly. Maybe I don't need to go that big. I don't know. I'll reevaluate and figure it out, but yeah, I don't know. Not much to say. I'm going to do that. I got some weld-in bungs, so I can do my feed line and my return. Because my brake lines, everything running on this side, I think I'll just run my fuel lines up this side. That way I can figure out where I'm going to want to put my, well, I'll have to do it later, but I'll have to figure out where my pressure regulator is going to go. Once I can get the motor, once all my parts come in and I can get that together, then we can splash a little paint under here and we can drop the motor in and hopefully never have to take it back out. That's the plan. Anyways, let's get measuring and kind of see if I can come up with a game plan for the fuel tank. All right, I definitely struggled trying to get all my bends right. And I think I got it. So anyways, this is how it looks complicated. And I gotta do a couple cuts yet. But my thought is this thing's actually gonna sit in the car. And this is gonna be like my slosh tank. That makes sense? Basically I wanna cut this bottom off, but I'm gonna have like a catch spot back here that I'm gonna do my fuel lines off of. And it's just like a surge tank kind of something. I'm gonna basically, I wanna mark this, go from nothing to this little square lump here. I left everything in here. I'm gonna put a couple baffles in it. It is pretty big tank, but I should be able to hold a lot of fuel. That's the goal. Should be able to go a while on a tank. I guess I could have went smaller. It's gonna be like 16, probably over 16 gallons. I think this is a 16 or 18, I think, depending what I do here. Anywho, my plan, I gotta find my screwdriver, or sorry, my pencil, but I wanna basically cut this off to something like that. We're gonna cut this all out. And what that's gonna do is when I'm in the car, wherever the fuel is, it's all gonna run over and it's gonna go to the passenger side. And then I'll kind of run my lines coming out that way. So far, this is it. I'm gonna make a cap for this. I have to tweak this a little bit because I want the tank to have a little bit of angle to it, if that makes sense. Well, I had my share of problems, but it's in. I'm not quite happy how it's sitting yet, but it's here. I wanted it to have this little bit of a lean back so I can kind of make a fastener up to here, along with, you know, a couple other fasteners there. And then at least then I can kind of have a little, when I close this in, I'll be able to have like a package tray kind of dealio going over it. Anyways, I had it just a hair bit too wide. It was actually hitting the body back here, and I don't want it to do that. And I had to tweak and cut this off. Well, I had to do that, and then it was a little too wide. It was hitting the inner tub stuff. So anyways, now here's our shape. And essentially, I'd like to get it sitting in there, then I can kind of bolt it down here, like get some tabs on it to bolt down, and then another one up into there. And that should be plenty to hold it in there. It's wedged, like it kind of drops off the back. That's what the idea of this is. So anyways, I could just make it smaller, but I don't know, I want all the size I can, so we'll just add to all the complication of making sure I don't have any leaks in it. Tried to do it as seamless as I can with as little of welding seams as possible, but anyways, overall it's pretty good. Well, yeah, I'm going to take it out, I'm going to tweak it. I want to twist it so it has that, instead of being perfectly square, I want it to be wedged back a little bit. So now's the time to do it, and then we can figure out our end caps and stuff like that. That's kind of what I want to do. And then we got to figure out where my filler neck's going to go and my cine unit. So that's the two biggies. I don't know, it's kind of interesting. Like, I'm going to just weld on the bungs here, and I don't know, somewhere else I'll do the return. I don't want it too close to my pickup line, because in case the system spits back too much, I don't want it to aerate the fuel right close to it. So, but I can do it anywhere into the side of this thing, because it's just in the side, no, anywhere up here, anywhere I can put it, because there's just tons of room to bolt that thing in, or on the bottom or something. I'll figure it out. There. Now to pull it out and tweak this thing a little bit. right, after a whole lot of fitting, I have my feed. This will be my return. I have like a little internal baffle on this lower side. I don't know if you can see it, but I have a lower one just to kind of keep stuff from sloshing right there. What else do I got here? We got our inside baffles done. I have holes done, so that's going to be my sending unit, and this will be my fill, because when it sits in the car. So, yeah, I think the only thing left to do now is actually weld the whole thing up. I was going to try MIG welding, but honest to goodness, the TIG welder is the way better for doing this stuff. I feel like if I TIG weld it, I know where I'm possibly going to have a leak most of the time, but we'll try to take it much slower, take a little patience, and just see if I can actually do this without any leaks, which would be pretty awesome. I don't have a good track record of that, but anyways, we're going to use our HTP welder there and give her beans. So we have this all done. So I just got the end caps to do. I'll probably pull all this together and just do a couple more tacks on everything, or I might just, I'll just TIG weld it, it's fine. I just worry when I MIG, every time I start stop I have problems, and it's just not that pretty. Not that it needs to be, but I gotta get this all done, then I can kind of make some angle tabs to bolt it to the floor and then to that rear pillar that I wanted to do. I may even kind of do to the back into those, like that seam that I welded up, but I still have them on the outside, so I might make two hangers back there yet, just so I have 5 contact points just to hold the fuel tank down. Yeah, I guess just start welding. A whole lot of welding to go. Well, I think I have three and a half hours into welding this. I feel pretty good with it, but I kind of want to go over and check everything out yet. There's like right here, I don't even know. Sometimes that's just a little splits of the welding gas, but usually you can eyeball it down and you'll see if there's an imperfection. I ran out of argon, so I had to do a couple last stitches just with the MIG welder, like this spot here, which I'm pretty good. I feel confident with that. But, you know, TIG, I was trying to catch it as I was seeing it go, but there's always guaranteed to be something. Like this spot seems really thin. I don't know if you can focus on that or not, but looks like it needs a little something there, but or I should build it up because I feel like it's going to be weak. Yeah, I don't know. Ah, well. So basically I got that done, and all I got left to do is we got to do for our sending unit. We need to put that in here, but I would like to do a heavier piece of steel that I can tap, and so I can screw this thing in, and then that thing can go into there, do its business in there. And then I'd like to figure out how this placement's got to work yet, so I'd like to put it in the car, figure out where it's got to go to orient to where my filler is going to be on the car, and then I got to figure out the couple mounts that are left to hold the tank in the car, kind of thing. And then eventually when we do the interior stuff, it's just going to have a shelf, and it'll be just kind of all closed off from everywhere. I'm thinking I also want to, when I do the filler, I'll do a vent so it can kind of go because I don't think that cap that I have vents. So I'm going to have to put a vent in here too, just so it vents to the outside of the car. I'll kind of follow our other lines and we'll kind of shoo it down outside of the car so we don't smell any of that inside the truck, the car, I mean. Anyways, I think that's about as far as I'm getting tonight. I'm kind of, I don't know how you guys who do production stuff can sit there and weld all day. That's about enough welding for me. All right, tomorrow we'll finish that thing up.
Making sure the leaks are under the lid.
Yeah.
Not on my welds. Dang it. We got one over there. One. Somewhere down there. Right there. All right, keep going. I'm trying to make sure. That's pretty good, only one. I have on the bottom there too. And then do around there. Huh.
Okay, get up in that one spot that I did.
Get there where that bubble is. I just want to make sure I got the right one. Here than I should. Yeah, keep going until it cools off. Mint. I got too much everywhere, but I want to.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Only one hole. That's pretty respectable.
Better than my quad?
Well, I wanted to make sure before I weld this up that,
It's all
yeah, if I got a pinhole behind it, it sucks, 'cause I've done that in the past where I've welded something on, then I realized I can't get at it. I was starting this seam right here, and then I was like, I better check to make sure nothing leaks, because if I weld that thing on fully, this is here, but this is just coming from the tape, so.
Mint. Mint. Good to go. Doing one last pressure test before I call this tank done. So far, so good. I was worried before when I didn't want to weld this seam on it, and all of a sudden there was a leak behind it, but not much I can do now. But I'm pretty sure we're okay. Everything looks good. We got a little bit underneath, but that thing was 100% good before. I think one of these things leaked a little bit, but we are good. Unlike my last time, we're only running about, I don't know, 2 pounds, 3 pounds in there, something like that. Which is more than enough to find a leak anyways. Well, there we go. That's pretty good. I am happy with that. Can even put a little more in. What do we got? I think it's 5 pounds. But everything looks good. I was a little concerned up here because I had to MIG weld all of this, but seems pretty good. Around here, pretty good. What I'm going to do is actually add a vent just up into the hose kind of thing near my filler, or my filler. I'll be able to drill and tap my filler, and I'm going to put a line on there, and that's going to be my vent way up by the cap where you put gas in. So yeah, I don't know. There we go. I guess I'll set it in. The only thing left to do is inside of the car here yet is I got to drill. It sits on the bottom, so I'm going to have to drill a couple holes there and then one up on top. But then the tank is permanently like mounted. We'll sit and put a rubber strap across the bottom and then across the back. And then when it comes time to wire it, my sending unit here has a ground strap on it that I can use. So if this thing decides that it doesn't ground anywhere because I rubber isolating it, I don't have to worry about it. So I'm pretty happy about that. I've got that out of the way. I didn't get the fuel lines run, but I guess that'll be the next round. We'll get the fuel lines run. I did get my flywheel today, so I'm thinking I'm going to put those other fasteners on my lines. Actually, look, there are no nuts. They're actually just like a press-in clip, so maybe my things are good enough for what it is. When I look on Rock Auto, they're all the same stuff. So anyways, the lines are done. So basically I want to get the lines all plumbed up good. I am waiting for some fittings for my stuff for my clutch, so I don't know if I'm going to commit too much. I might test fit everything, make sure everything fits all right, and plumb in my lines, because I have to pop a hole into the back, and then we're going to have to fish our fuel lines up to the front, wherever my regulator is. So I may have to just sling the motor in, just to float there, so I can figure out roughly where I want to put my fuel regulator and a few things like that, get my fuel lines run. But then we can probably get some paint or, you know, splash a little color on the firewall and get that stuff out of the way. Over on this front, Ryder's out farting on his truck. Probably don't want to leave that on there. He's, looks like you torched it out. You might need to cut some more on this side too, though, yet. Well, I'm going to find out. I'm pretty sure. Basically, right at this point, he's clearancing out some stuff so we can try to get the cab and the front clip situated where it's supposed to, so he can progress on to the next step.
Yep.
All right, yesterday I was giving Ryder a hand, and as far as we got was trying to line stuff up on his body. So the body's like semi-square. The fenders look kind of okay-ish. We're still working on the side to side. It's a little weird because the clip's sort of off, but Ryder's got to go back in and recut all this stuff. He did the one side, he's got to trim up the other side, and then we can at least get the fenders on and make a temporary bracket for the front, and then we can work on building brackets on the bottom. You can see down there how we just have some 4x4 blocks. I feel like I want to lift the body up a little bit more. He likes it really low, which is cool, but I think we got to get the body up a little higher so that it's not too low, because we still got to smash some running boards underneath there. And we got to make sure that the scrub line and all that stuff is good underneath there. Otherwise, you just got to make sure the scrub line's good. If he gets it flat or does something, it's like I say, it's easier to lower something than it is to get everything way too low and not be able to lift it up. So it's probably going to go up another 2 to 4 inches, I think, because we can put blocks in the back. We can do lots of things to lower it, but want to make sure we don't have the weight of the motor in there. There's a lot of things that are going to hamper the ride height. So anyways, he's still got a bunch of work to do on there. Over here, pop the fuel tank in. It's looking good. Just got to drill a few holes. I'm not too worried yet. All we got to do is get the lines run. I'm basically going to have to put those lines in the back. We're going to bob a line down in the bottom and get that out. I'm questioning right now whereabouts I'm going to go put a battery. So I'm kind of been thinking about that. There may be room under the floor. I don't know yet. We'll see. I'll probably end up running maybe a smaller, like one of those lithium batteries or something, just so I can, if I had to keep it in the cab, because there might be room under the cowl, because that does come off. I might be able to have a spot there for it, but I'd almost rather it be outside the body if I can do that. But because there's definitely going to be no room under the hood, that's for sure. And then with the exhaust, there's not a lot of options under there. Anyways, I'm thinking that is where we are going to leave this one. So, as always, folks, I want to thank you all for watching, and we will catch you on the next one. We're doing some more Model A stuff. Later. bye.